Thank you, Jay. It's fantastic to be here. Professionally, I've been in technology for a very long time. I was most recently at Salesforce-owned MuleSoft, which makes software that helps enterprises join their systems together. Over the past 10 or 20 years, I've had the opportunity to chat with many, many business leaders across many business domains and many geographies. And a common refrain across basically all of those conversations is just how difficult enterprises find it to join their data across their various different enterprise systems to deliver new customer experiences or employee experiences, and how difficult it is they find it to embed their data and their analytics in all of their business functions to make better business decisions. It is actually much harder than it looks, and it's holding organizations back from being able to take advantage of their data. And that's the giant spaghetti mess that Jay just talked about. But I'd like to take a moment and talk a little bit about why this spaghetti mess exists. What is driving it? Why is it pernicious? And how can we start to solve some of these problems? In general, you can think about data in the enterprise as existing broadly across two major estates, the operational estate and the analytical estate. In the operational estate, the data is stored as part of running the business, and in the analytical state, it's stored and reported on to try and understand how the business is performing and make business decisions. Now, these different estates have very different users, different use cases, and they grew up separately, so they fundamentally have different approaches, different architectures, and entirely different technology stacks. Now, let me dig in just a little bit into the mess. In the operational estate, what you're looking at is the business applications that drive all the value, because they're the things that actually enable you to do your business products and services. So think about something like a CRM for customer relationship management, or an ERP for supply chain and logistics. Now, those applications obviously need to store their data, so they have a database that sits alongside them, an operational data store. But to be clear, the data as it sits on the disk is one thing, but a lot of the value is actually driven from the business processes and user interfaces that manipulate that data and use it and sit on top as part of the business application. Now, if you went back 15 years ago, we used to have very large, very monolithic business applications that could do entire large lines of business. So if you went and purchased some stuff in a store, you might find that the cashier was using a terminal that was connected to a mainframe. And the mainframe application could do everything related to retail. It might have a product catalog, it might do payments, it might do inventory, it might do almost everything related to retail. But in the modern world, it just isn't like that anymore. That is just too hard. And so instead, we've separated out a lot of those different business capabilities into different business systems. Now, that's okay, but obviously any customer experience or employee experience is going to touch many of those different systems. They're going to have to work together to deliver anything you recognize as a business capability. So how do you solve that? Well, the truth is that in the enterprise, you write a lot of code, and you join these systems one by one, painstakingly together to deliver these capabilities. Now, that's expensive and tedious, but it's absolutely critical because every organization is trying to deliver new products, new services, new business competitiveness, etc. So that's what's going on in your operational estate. In your analytical estate, your business leaders are trying to understand how the business is performing and be able to make decisions. They're asking questions like, how is marketing going? Are we driving sales? Is sales going well? What is sales performance like? How is the overall business posture looking? And so they're asking these questions, and in order to answer their questions, typically what happens is there are batch jobs that suck the data from all of those operational data stores into one enormous data warehouse and try and stitch it back together. Context-free, stitch it back together to produce a view of what is going on inside the enterprise so that they can make business decisions. Now, what's actually happening, though, is that the environment continues to get ever more complex. In the operational estate, you can see that there are an explosion of new different business applications that are being deployed. Think of SaaS applications, microservices, new homegrown applications. Every time you're adding a new business capability or a new mobile app or a new voice assistant skill, you're adding new systems into the operational estate. And those operational applications are bringing even more operational data stores and different database technologies to the operational estate. This is getting incredibly more complex, and you still have to wire everything together to deliver decent customer experiences. And that same complexity that you saw in the operational estate is getting manifested back over in the analytical estate as well. You're still trying to bring together all of that information from all of these different systems and try and make sense of it. And it's become easier than it has ever been to stand up massive cloud data warehouses, but you're still fundamentally migrating data. You're usually doing it in batch because it was built to serve the needs of reports that were looked at once a week, once a month, or once a quarter. You're doing it in batch, and you're trying to produce a simulacrum of the world, something about how the world actually looked back in the day. But monthly isn't good enough anymore. You're looking at weekly, daily, hourly, for example, and when the data is incorrect, or it's not up to date, or it doesn't exactly mimic the real world, it's hard to use it to make any significant business decisions. This is a very complex landscape that exists in the enterprise everywhere. So you just heard me describe some of those problems, and I also described how important they are in the enterprise because every organization needs to continue to innovate. And so what actually happened was the industry built entire technology stacks inside each of these estates to try and make the problem just a little bit easier. In the operational estate, you're looking at things like message-oriented middleware, application integration and governance, and change data capture. And in the analytical estate, you're looking at tools like data pipelines, data processing, and data governance tools. Now, these fragmented tool sets, they kind of make it a little bit easier, but fundamentally, it's still a one-by-one game, solving it piece by piece by piece. And what's worse is that you solve every problem at least twice, once in the operational state and once in the analytical state. It's unbelievably tedious and painstaking to try and make it work. And worse, what typically happens is when you move data from the operational state into the analytical state, you haven't brought all of its context. It's lossy. It's not a perfectly great representation of what truly has happened. And even when you're ready to take action back in the operational estate, you can't easily do that. It's kind of a one-way door from one estate into the other estate. It's really, really messy. And yet the world just marches on and is not waiting for this mess to get solved. Consider your average customer experiences these days. When I'm shopping on a mobile app for a specific item, I want to know, is the item available? When will it be delivered if I order it right now? I want you to give me personalized offers, personalized coupons, personalized recommendations. It all has to just work. Those are my customer expectations. And when I actually go ahead and I order the item, a whole bunch of things have to happen, again, all in real time. You have to process my payment, sure, that's obvious. But you also have to run fraud checks. You have to reserve inventory for the item in the warehouse. You have to reserve space for the item to be shipped on the next truck roll that's going to my zip code and going to my house. And even beyond that, it goes all the way down into your supply chain. If this item is going to run out soon, I need you to order more stock from the supplier so that the next customer is not disappointed and I don't lose a sale because I don't have any more of that item ready to sell to you. A whole bunch of predictions and actions and reactions happen when any of these interactions happen. What you really need is you need all of your operational systems to work together as one. And you need all of your analytical systems to have the exact same ground truth view of the world, all at once. Now, when you try and brute force this problem by connecting systems one by one by one, that is what is creating this giant spaghetti mess. And that is how we got here. But putting it really simply, these two estates, the operational estate and the analytical estate, just cannot exist separately anymore. It is just impossible to make this really scale. And so that's what Confluent is solving from the ground up in a whole new way by delivering a central nervous system. What we're doing is we're making it easy for your operational systems to work together transparently, trivially, and to enable that exact same view to be shared with the analytical systems so that everybody has the exact same view of the world. With Confluent, high quality, consistent, up-to-date data is shared naturally all the way through all of your estates, everywhere inside your enterprise. Now, this actually has massive benefits for everybody. For the CTO, this is a whole new architecture that enables them to build new applications that deliver business services, business capabilities, and drive business automation faster than they ever could before. Think about getting more from your development efforts than you ever could. And it also benefits your COOs and your CROs because they get unparalleled business visibility into everything that's happening in every one of the business systems, all in real time. Beautiful, incredible business level visibility. So we provide a better way to put data to work. We package data up as products, and we're changing the conversation from what is my data, where is it, how do I access it, how do I query it, is this even up to date, is this even accurate, to what is my data and how can I put my data to work. That's the whole point. And in doing so, we're rethinking and reimagining how data is spread across organizations and how teams, applications and systems work together to deliver business outcomes. We liberate data from silos, we make it all interoperable, and by doing that, we unlock endless different use cases across all of the businesses where we're delivering a central nervous system. So you may be wondering, how does this relate to the various different technologies I just talked you through? We have been doing this for years and years and years, and it has not been solving this problem. If we keep doing more of it, it is unlikely it is going to continue to solve this problem. Confluent is reimagining how this problem is solved from the ground up with a central nervous system. Now, in the operational plane, we make integrations between applications, making applications work together to deliver new products, new services, business automations, much easier than it has ever been before. And in doing so, we can replace a lot of the need for message-oriented middleware, application integration, and change data capture. And over in the analytical estate, we make it easy to gain visibility into everything that's happening in your business, all of your most important data, all in real time. And so by doing that, we replace a lot of the need for these old batch, ETL, ELT, data pipelines, data processing pipelines that exist in the enterprise. Now, I want to be really clear about one thing. We are not another technology joining this hodgepodge of technologies. We are fundamentally solving this problem from the ground up, and we are unifying these two estates. We are in neither the operational estate or the analytical estate. We are in both. And that's what enables us to power all of these different use cases I have just been talking to you about. So it's that which is what's driving the $60 billion addressable market for Confluent. We are breaking down data barriers in the enterprise. There's no need for more fragmented, duplicative technology and processing layers across different use cases. There's no need for siloed processing systems across the analytical and operational estate. We are purpose-built to set data in motion and to solve the problems I just talked you through. And looking over the horizon, we're going to take pieces of this pie as we deliver on the central nervous system, and we're going to unlock significant growth opportunities. Now, these are really important problems, and these are problems I care very deeply about. Bridging the divide between operational and analytical, Decentralizing data strategy and democratizing innovation are passion areas for me as an individual, and they make me very proud to be able to join Confluent. I have spent many years of my life working on this problem in my prior roles, and it's very clear to me that doing more of what we have already done, doing more of these old approaches to this problem can never solve this problem at scale. It is impossible. And I'd encourage you to consider that when you look at this $60 billion TAM, that doesn't even include various things. It doesn't include the opportunity ahead of us as we monetize more of the open source Kafka ecosystem and bring them into our managed streaming platform, where they can get a lower TCO and a better cloud native offering, and replace the infrastructure and personnel spend. And you also need to consider the incredible rise of more and more data in the enterprise, more and more real-time data in the enterprise, driven by customer expectations and AI, which I know all of us are looking at right now. So that's kind of what we're doing. Now let me dive in just a little bit into how we are doing it. Now obviously it all starts with streaming. With streams, data is not static, it's not passive, it's in motion, it's constantly moving, constantly evolving, constantly being processed and shared everywhere across your organization to power your business. Then we make it easy to connect to the static and historical data and bring in data from wherever it sits, anywhere across the organization as streams into Confluent. We take those streams and we process them, enrich them, evolve them, improve them, and we end up with streams that actually are carrying the most important data at every one of the enterprises we're working with, the lifeblood of the data as it flows through those enterprises. And we take that data and we govern it. We make it safe. We make it reusable. We make it known, discoverable, and so that other people can safely consume it and use it. And then we enable that data to be shared as data products elsewhere inside the organization through a catalog wherever we can find, manipulate, and understand all of the data that's going on inside the enterprise. And then that data, those real-time data assets, can flow like water into the operational applications I've spent so long talking to you about, and into the analytical applications that I've spent so long talking to you about. The same source of truth into any type of application, build it all from the same source of truth. So our product investments, you heard Jay talk about them. They primarily are across those 5 dimensions I just talked about streaming, connecting, governing, processing, and sharing. And I'd like to dig in a little bit more into our product innovations in each of those different areas. And for that, I'd like to welcome up my friend and colleague, Chief Technology Officer at Confluent, Chad Verbowski.
Thank you, Sean. I'm excited to be at Confluent, where I can bring together my experiences from creating a bunch of cloud services like Azure SQL Data Warehouse and Google BigQuery, along with what I learned from my time in Microsoft Research and Bing. And it's taught me that there are 5 key foundational areas that we need to innovate in to be able to build a data streaming platform for the enterprise. So today, I'm going to walk us through some of those unique things that Confluent is doing to bring each of those 5 areas together. The first area, of course, is streaming, and it's powered by our cloud-native, complete, and everywhere Kafka technology. Second, you need to easily connect this streaming core to all of your existing SaaS, database, data warehouse, and any other system in your enterprise that's producing or consuming data to enable real-time interactions across your entire data ecosystem. And third, you want to enable everyone in your enterprise to be able to work with and process data in real time. You're going to be mixing, filtering, transforming these raw inputs and reusing those outputs and combining them to create even more valuable insights. And fourth, this rich data set is then shared, reused, and perhaps even further processed by other departments or even partners to your company. And finally, for all of this to be safe and compliant, we ensure that the data, all of these operations and the interactions are securely governed end to end. And Confluent Cloud covers all of these, the complete stream, connect, processing, sharing, and governing journey to make it easy for organizations everywhere to unlock all of their data. Now let's talk first about streaming, where we've reimagined data streaming to be secure, resilient, scalable, cost-effective, and of course it has to be everywhere that your data exists. Now, as Jay mentioned, Apache Kafka has become the foundational technology for data streaming. 75% of the Fortune 500 companies and nearly all of the major players in every segment are using Kafka. And this is a huge win for Confluent because it means that most enterprises are already excited about using streaming, and therefore it's very easy for them to adopt and consume our products. Now, anything great for your business is of course going to grow. It's going to expand with new use cases, more teams are going to adopt it, it's going to be deployed in even more environments, and then these products are going to get mission critical. And as the usage of this grows, so do the expectations of these systems. You're going to need to scale them, and you're going to need to provide them with some major operational guarantees. And that's going to take more engineering resources to run. Now, operating open source Kafka is hard. You've got to deal with sizing the infrastructure, load spikes, expanding your clusters. You have to manage the costs. You have to provide it with high availability and disaster recovery. And of course, you've got to secure it. You've got to manage the upgrades, not just to the Kafka system, but to that underlying infrastructure as well. And this is why it's such a huge opportunity for a fully managed cloud-native Kafka service that handles all of these complexities. And this enables companies to innovate faster, lowers their TCO, and it eliminates all of these operations so companies can focus on their core business innovation. Now, being truly cloud-native is not as simple as just taking your open source software and running it on a bunch of machines or cloud instances. To be truly cloud-native, what you need to do is provide something that is very cost-effective, it has to be efficient, it has to be secure, and it needs to serve literally thousands of customers on that same set of infrastructure, not just one. So to be a multi-tenant scalable solution with these isolation and optimizations that you need to work very closely with every cloud provider. Not every cloud is created the same. They have their own ways of building networking, processing, storage, security. And if you're going to optimize your system to have maximum performance and cost optimizations, you need to tune what you're building to every one of those environments. And this proprietary innovation that we have at Confluent enables us to have differentiated cost efficiencies and reliability and differentiated ease of use with capabilities like elasticity for automatically sizing what resources are needing for your instances, pay-as-you-go pricing, and of course eliminating this operational burden. Confluent Cloud is the easy button for using Kafka. So this is why we built Kora. It's a new engine, 100% compatible with Apache Kafka, and it's a completely re-engineered system from the ground up. We've deployed it across 85 regions in the world, and it runs on all 3 major cloud providers. It replicates data across availability zones so it can provide strong availability guarantees and, again, eliminates that operational burden. And we've done that work with the cloud providers with close relationships between our engineering teams to really maximize that elasticity, resilience, and scalability with over 5 million engineering hours put into this core system. And in 2023 alone, with Kora, we've already delivered a 4x improvement over open source Apache Kafka performance. And we've also delivered improvements to our data and workload balancing, along with massive improvements in our network performance and cost optimization when we're driving very big data loads. Kora powers more than 10,000 clusters on thousands of customers running their critical workloads, saving them time and money, and of course, infrastructure and operational management costs. And on a number of dimensions, Confluent Cloud is at least 10 times better than any self-managed open source system, or even some of those semi-managed systems where people are just taking open source Kafka and running it in the cloud. So with our fully managed cloud services, our customers no longer need to worry about any pre-provisioning infrastructure. They can elastically expand from 0 all the way up to gigabytes per second to meet the demands of their business with just a few clicks and without any manual intervention. And with automated load balancing and continuous monitoring, we provide guaranteed reliability of 4 nines, and our customers can be confident that with their mission-critical use cases are being powered by highly reliable and resilient platform. And we've eliminated limits on storages, so customers can contain all of their current data and all of their historic data as well for as long as they want, eliminating the burden of balancing the need for longer data retention with rising infrastructure cost. And this means that customers can use Confluent as the source of truth for all of their data across their entire ecosystem. And these innovations also do double duty here. They provide us with a dramatic advantage in delivering our cloud service. For instance, we have less than 5 Kafka engineers for running these tens of thousands of production systems. This gives us a cost structure for operations that we believe is over 1,000 times better than our competition. Now, with our deeply differentiated stack, we remove the complexity and the operational burden of this do-it-yourself Kafka, and we're driving compelling savings and faster ROI for our customers. An independent, total economic impact research by Forrester highlights how Confluent has helped customers save millions of dollars in TCO, with a payback period of fewer than 6 months and an ROI of more than 250%. Now, in our mission to build a complete data streaming platform, we need to connect all of the systems that you have in your enterprise to make it easy to ingest and egress data continuously between Confluent and any system or application, whether that system is on-premise or in the cloud. And while capturing dynamic data is foundational to our data streaming strategy, we also provide the seamless experience for connecting to any non-streaming source. We minimize the effort to integrate and ultimately unlock that data so that you can enhance your existing real-time use cases. And our Connect strategy really has 3 core capabilities. Number 1, it reduces the TCO of integration with our pre-built and existing managed connector offerings. Number 2, it enables custom connectors so that anybody can build unique connections to any system they have in their enterprise. And number 3, we want to ensure that every customer can use their tool of choice, so we have native integrations with any of the major native applications that they're using. Now let's dive into each of these three areas. So in the streaming world, we have the best ecosystem of zero-code connectors built out across the various data estates, operational systems, analytical systems, and SaaS platforms. So you don't have to know Kafka to get data into and out of our platform. We have over 120 pre-built connectors and over 70 fully managed connectors for our customers to use. And an ecosystem of integrations that our community continues to build to connect their data sources to and through Confluent. And this means our customers can quickly and easily connect their systems with Confluent Cloud using a few clicks or lines of code. We take care of all the heavy lifting so our customers can focus on unlocking the value from their real-time data estate. Now this can save them typically 1 to 2 engineering years of work or investments they might have in proprietary tools that can be prohibitively expensive. And today, our customers are running thousands of connectors across our Confluent Cloud and Confluent Platform products. So when customers begin to use these connectors, this of course drives more data into our Kafka platform, but that in turn leads to more processing. And this processing is powering a flywheel to increase consumption of Confluent resources. And this highlights the networking effect of real-time data. This flywheel spins even faster as customers push higher volumes of data to power their generative AI workloads. So one thing I'm quite excited about is what we call custom connectors. It's a new capability we launched last month at Kafka Summit in London. And custom connectors gives our customers added flexibility to simplify integrations with any possible sources that they have. So let's say a customer or some advanced user has a specific requirement to integrate their particular application or custom source of data. Now with a few lines of code, they can create this, they upload it to our Confluent Cloud, and we take care of everything to do with running it and making sure that it's operationally sound. They don't have to worry about the infrastructure details of managing this connector because we take care of it for them, saving them time and the cost of data integration. Now, in addition to enabling our customers to bring their own connectors, we also want to make it easy for them to use their tools of choice. So we never want them to leave the UI of the tool they're working in so that they can seamlessly connect with any of the data that we provide in real time. So we're working very closely with our technology partner ecosystems to build Connect with Confluent, so they can build these native integrations into their own platforms. And we're launching this next month, and we have many partners in our ecosystem already lined up for the launch. Now, continuing on our mission to build this complete data streaming platform, we need to be able to easily derive value from these real-time data systems. We do this by providing powerful processing capabilities to enable filtering, joining, analyzing, and reusing these results to generate actionable insights in real time. Now, I want to take a moment to signify the importance of stream processing. Any data or event has by itself some intrinsic value, and traditional messaging systems or even simple point-to-point API connectors, they can capitalize on. But they're missing a huge opportunity, and that is that data is more valuable when it is combined with other data. So if you combine one event with data from another, you can get much deeper insights and way more meaningful actions. For example, let's say you're making a purchase on your favorite retail site. If that retailer is able to join that purchase information with your customer information to know the location you are in, then they can provide much more meaningful shipping options. And then if you take that a step further, if they can further analyze that information about what's being shipped to your location, they can, of course, bundle many of these together and ship them to you in a single package. And so this is an example of just where you can take one real-time event, join it with some of these offline systems, and produce even more value. And this ability to share, reuse, and enhance processing results in the same data reuse over and over again. And this is the power of stream processing, and it's one of the key value propositions of our data streaming platform. Now, while Kafka Streams has dominated in building standalone applications, there has been a whole family of standalone frameworks that have emerged to manage the lifecycle of application development. And because there are ecosystems around streaming, this is an opportunity for us to pull in additional things into our platform. In the ecosystem of stream processing frameworks, there has been one technology that has come to the forefront in this space, and it has become an emerging de facto standard. And that, of course, is Flink. Now, Flink, as Jay pointed out, is one of the most popular open source projects ever. We can see that it's growing at a similar rate to what Kafka was about 4 years ago. In fact, we're seeing a high level of overlap between companies that were early adopters of Kafka now becoming adopters of Flink. And many of these innovative companies use these technologies together to support mission-critical workloads in their enterprise. And this means that just as Kafka is the de facto standard for streaming, Flink is the de facto choice for stream processing. For example, the AI recommendation system powering TikTok, called Monolith, is built on Kafka and Flink. so they can respond in real time to changes in user preferences. There's a lot of synergy between Kafka, Confluent, and Flink. But Flink doesn't have a cloud-native offering to make it easy for customers to adopt. So customers are spending a lot of their time and engineering resources on operating, maintaining, monitoring, and scaling Flink infrastructure. So it naturally makes sense for Confluent to deeply integrate Flink into the best-of-class cloud-native Kafka offering that we have. It allows us to reuse our expertise in building this cloud-native offering, and it also allows us to reuse some of those cloud-native primitives to provide a Flink-native service as well. Now, Immerok is a company founded by Apache Flink community members, and 6 months ago, Confluent announced our acquisition of Immerok so that we could have the preeminent Flink leaders at Confluent as well. And this really complements our existing stream processing offerings, which extends it with rich capabilities for pro-code and low-code developers or even data analysts. Now, all product development and data engineering can be built from this one data estate. We will provide a fully managed cloud-native Flink service on all 3 of the major cloud providers in every location that we have our Kafka service. And our customers won't have to worry about infrastructure details or pre-provisioning of any infrastructure. They will only pay for what they use. And today, Kafka Streams is a library that runs in the client infrastructure, and it isn't monetized by us today except for the data it produces. But in the future, we will bring that processing into Flink, so we can monetize the processing as well as the data that's being created. And we're integrating all of our stream processing capabilities to provide an end-to-end data streaming platform that makes it operationally easy to access all features needed to build streaming applications. And often the most valuable data to work with is also the most sensitive. And this is why it is foundational for our data streaming platform to guarantee that all the data and processing is end-to-end governed. We ensure the observability, the compliance, and the confidentiality of data that's always on the move. Now, the explosion of data and its commoditization has given rise to new challenges for enterprises, like how to foster collaboration between producers and consumers with the right checks and balances in place. How do we free up and unlock data to innovate and push businesses forward without losing control over that data? And how do we make sense of data and ecosystems as they grow and become more complex? And organizations balance this data access between innovating faster, onboarding these use cases, with security that they need to protect and meet enterprise regulatory and compliance needs. So solving this is critical. In fact, a lot of companies have had to build this themselves because there really was no commercial offering that's provided governance for data in motion. So many organizations already use Kafka and trust it for their most important data. They unlock this critical data for reuse in any applications across business boundaries, and it's really critical for accelerating their agility in the enterprise. But it's only possible if organizations can do this safely. And Confluent's Stream Governance Suite empowers distributed teams of engineers to have this balance between moving fast and staying secure. And we provide 3 things as part of this offering. The first one is our Stream Catalog, which enables people to increase their collaboration and productivity with self-service data discovery that lets teams classify and organize the data and find the streams as they need them. The second part is Stream Quality, which enables customers to deliver trusted, high-quality data streams to drive the business with data integrity. Third is Data Lineage, which enables customers to understand the complex data and uncover insights and value with their interactive end-to-end maps of data streams. Stream governance is key to fostering collaboration and knowledge sharing necessary to become a data-centric business while remaining compliant with ever-evolving regulatory needs. So one area that Confluent really dominates in and is enabling operational workloads, mission-critical workloads that run the core businesses in our customers. And it's handling things like social security numbers or credit card numbers. And we make sure that our customers are confident that only the right people with the right access can work with this data. Our innovations protect customer data confidentiality. They help maintain contracts. They enable early detection of any problems. They can assess the quality, and they provide the fidelity and shape of the data, making it easy to discover inconsistencies and anomalies quickly. This empowers developers to use all of the data that's at their fingertips more confidently and quickly. And this creates a network effect. A well-governed set of data is more reason to use the Confluent data streaming platform as an interchange for all of the data in your enterprise. Now, the final piece of our data streaming platform is to enable data sharing. Sharing enables self-service and up-to-the-date, trustworthy data and analytics effortlessly for everyone in an enterprise or even to your partners. Now, developers spend a lot of time discovering trustworthy data to use for their applications. And we make it easy to do this discovery, consumption, and sharing so that developers can spend less time looking for their data instead of just consuming the right data at the right time in the right format. And this means they're better equipped to use data to power their real-time applications without worrying where data is or how to access it. Customers can easily integrate data into real-time systems and ensure that it's secure and safe for sharing. First, we're building a developer portal to enable easy discoverability and access to ready-to-use data. And using this portal, a developer can search for a data stream, click a button to request access to it, and this request gets sent to a central operator where it can be approved and they'll ultimately be granted access to use it. In addition, we're the only company to support any combination of on-premise, hybrid cloud, and multi-cloud deployments for your data streaming architecture. Our customers can connect all of their systems, all of their data and applications across their distributed architecture and unlock valuable data in these siloed environments and stream that data in real time wherever it needs to go. No native hosted cloud offering can deliver this, and if they ever choose to migrate from one provider to another, we can help our customers maintain optionality and eliminate lock-in with seamless data mobility across clouds. Lastly, we make it easy to share data in your organization. And we also deliver that same simple real-time experience between organizations because the use case is actually quite common. There's actually no organization that exists in isolation. For example, inventory companies or delivery companies or even financial trading companies. They're constantly exchanging real-time data internally and with their external partners. And they're often using very primitive methods. They're sharing with things like file uploads or email attachments or one-off APIs. But that means that the data is stale. And every new source requires yet another IT project to get things wired up. So when data flows across organizations in real time, both parties have the same view of what's happening and what is possible. Stream sharing provides the easiest, most secure sharing across organizations in real time with just a few clicks. And now I'd like to invite back Sean.